Hey, what is up, everybody? I am here to give you my WWE Summerslam 2017 review. I know I'm probably like the last person in the world to review SummerSlam, um, but the reason for that is obviously because I wasn't gonna be because I did those live reactions and I missed some of the show because I didn't pay attention to some of the matches, and I think the show was worth a second look at, so I did just that last night, going into this morning. And I'm going to talk about this show. I'm going to give my full analysis on it. So I'm just going to get right into it. Um, we had the pre-show, and we had Renee Young, Jerry the King Lawler, Lita, David Otunga, and Peter Rosenberg on the panel. And for the commentators, we had the Raw commentary team of Corey Graves, Michael Cole, and Booker T. The Cruiserweight commentary team of Corey Graves and Vic Joseph, and the SmackDown commentary team of JBL, Tom Phillips, and Byron Saxon. Pretty much the same thing for the actual show itself, except no Vic Joseph since there wasn't a cruiserweight match on the main show. And the show starts off. Well, pretty much the panel breaks down all the matches and stuff. I thought that was decent. David Otunga just really needs to get out of the damn company because he sucks. He's awful. Um, Peter Rosenberg should just do the panel the whole time. Sam Roberts was there. He was out introducing the people that were outside. So that was kind of cool. But Baron Corbin gets interviewed, and Baron Corbin says that he's gonna hurt John Cena for sticking his business in his nose at first. He says, but then he messed up his words, and pretty much that was the gist of his promo. And then Shane McMahon gets interviewed, and he says that all that's been happening tonight is all that's been happening the past few weeks of waiting to get hit was just him being in the wrong place at the wrong time. But he says that tonight he's going to call the match between AJ Styles and Kevin Owens down the middle. And that was pretty much it for his promo. I thought those were decent promos. Well, Corbin's really wasn't all that great, but Shane's was decent. Then we had the first match on the show. It was a six-man tag team match. It was The Miz and The Miztourage with Maurice Ringside versus Jason Jordan and the Hardy Boys. Man, this match was really average. What hurt this match is is that they pretty much performed only in front of like 30 to 40 people because they were still letting people in from outside. I thought that was stupid. I thought like both. I think it's on both parties involved. Barclays Center for not letting the WWE let people in, and the WWE for trotting these guys out there when they knew no one was going to be there to watch it. That was just extremely stupid, and it really affected the match because they pretty much worked in front of nobody. And I felt bad because these are the Hardy Boys. These are a legendary tag team in the WWE. You have the Miz, who's your Intercontinental Champion, a former WWE champion. He's main evented WrestleMania, and he's wrestling in front of pretty much 30 people. Jason Jordan, who's in pretty much a big storyline where he's Kurt Angle's legitimate son, and yeah, he's wrestling in front of nobody. It was stupid. But the match starts off. Jason Jordan, and the faces pretty much dominate the heels. Jason Jordan calls the shots when he has the Hardy Boys hit chops on Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, and Jason Jordan hits one on The Miz. And The Miz and The Miz to us. Jeff Hardy goes to go off the top turnbuckle, but Miz pulls him down. And The Miz and The Miz to us get the heat on Jeff Hardy. Jeff Hardy's able to fight out of it. Matt Hardy gets the hot tag. And he goes off on The Miz and The Miz Chirage. And but then eventually they get the heat on him. And then eventually Jason Jordan gets the hot tag. He starts going off on The Miz and The Miz Chirage. And he goes for his back suplex neck breaker onto Curtis Axel. But Miz tags himself in, hits the skull crushing finale on Jason Jordan for the win. And yeah, then The Miz goes to like taunt at this one fan that was sitting there, and of course he was on his cell phone. He wasn't really paying attention. I thought that was kind of funny, I guess. But yeah, this match really was just average. Nothing really to it. The match they had on Raw was better, but I feel bad because there was really no one there for this match. So yeah, and Miz really should have been defending his Intercontinental Championship. It was ridiculous. And then Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins have a Q&A segment. I thought they had a pretty decent Q&A segment. They talk about, how they became a team again and how they never expected to actually be out there as a team. They talked about Seth Rollins talks about this is his first time he's been here for the Q&A segment, and Dean Ambrose says, and he calls Charlie Caruso, who was conducting this, Charles. Dean Ambrose says, "I thought you said you were gonna get some like a frozen freezer in here," and then um, Charlie Caruso starts asking some questions. The first question they get asked is what their team name is going to be, and Seth's like, "What?" And they said, "Well, we're not going to." And Dean and Seth said they're not going to have any tag teams right now because any team names because they don't want to cause dissension right now. They just want to focus on winning the Raw Tag Team Championships. And then they get asked, you know, if they ever pictured getting back together, they pretty much say no. I don't really remember what the answer to that one was. And then they get asked what their favorite moment of being in the show together was, and Dean Ambrose says it's when they had their debut match at Tables Ladders and Chairs or TOC for sure pay-per-view in 2012, right in the Barclays Center, right when it was built. And Seth Rollins agrees. And Dean didn't even remember what the pay-per-view is. I think he was probably drunk. It was pretty funny. So I thought this was a pretty funny Q&A segment. And then we had the next match. It was a Cruiserweight Championship match. Cruiserweight Champion Akira Tozawa with Titus O'Neil inside versus Neville. I thought this was a pretty good match here. Akira Tozawa gets the upper hand at first. He hits Neville hits a drop kick to Tozawa's face. Tozawa hits a drop kick onto Neville. And then eventually Neville takes over the matchup. He throws Tozawa's shoulder first into the barricade. He hits two drop kicks right to his back. And Neville works over the shoulder of Tozawa. Tozawa makes a comeback. He hits a suicide dive on the floor. He hits his back suplex into a running kick, knee to the head. And then he hits a flying crossbody. Neville hits a missile drop kick. He targets the shoulder of Akira Tozawa. And then Neville goes for a superplex. Tozawa counters it. He goes for the senton, but Neville gets the knees up and he hits the red arrow right to his ass, which was weird, for the win. And Neville regains the Cruiserweight Championship. Neville was wearing white attire instead of versus purple, so I thought that was a nice special entrance for him. And afterwards, Titus O'Neil was all distraught that Tozawa lost. He was picking him up like he was his child. And Neville regains the Cruiserweight Championship. What was the point of this? What was the point of Neville even dropping the title to begin with if he was just going to regain it right back at SummerSlam? It was stupid. And just a waste. I thought that was stupid. And you could have had Neville just continue to have his long title reign. This was just dumb. I didn't mind the match, but the finish was stupid. Then we had Roman Reigns gets interviewed, and he pretty much says that he's going to kick everybody's ass tonight and win the WWE Universal Championship. And then Elias performs his concert, and this was great. He performs a song where people make fun of New York. People are booing at him, and then the lights go out. He acts like the concert's over, and then the lights come back on, and he starts playing his guitar again, and everybody still boos him. So I thought that was nice, actually. And then Carmella and James Ellsworth invade the panel. Carmella talks about what it's like for her to be Miss Money in the Bank. She breaks down some of the matches she breaks at SummerSlam. She talks about what it's like for her to be Miss Money in the Bank, and then she stands up and everybody cheers her. And yeah, that was pretty decent. And then Jinder Mahal and the Sim brothers are backstage. Jinder Mahal talks about Baron Corbin failing to cash in his Money in the Bank, and how Shinsuke Nakamura is going to fail to win the WWE Championship from him. Obviously, I don't care for Jinder, so this wasn't that great of a promo. I mean, it really wasn't that great of a promo. So then next we had a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. SmackDown Tag Team Champions Big E and Xavier Woods with Kofi Kingston inside versus the Usos. Before the match, the New Day come out to cut a promo, and they talk about how they've had all of their famous moments in the Barclays Center. How it's when they first serenaded. It was when they had won the tag titles to become the longest reigning tag team champion of any kind in WWE. They it was the birth of Francesca, which led to Francesca um, Turbo, and that was it. Overall, great promo by New Day, and this match was really good. I really enjoyed this match. It really was this was on the main card. Xavier Woods hits a wicked just pop right hand right onto one of the Usos. He takes his shirt off, and Xavier Woods starts laying away with chops at him. Big E starts hitting a lot of power moves. Eventually, the Usos get the upper hand, and they start dominating Xavier Woods. And they beat the crap out of him well a good portion of this matchup. Um, and he tries to get a tag to Big E, but one of the Usos pulls his leg out from under him, and the Usos just pick apart Xavier Woods. They bully him outside the ring. They put him in the ring. But Xavier Woods is eventually able to get the hot tag on Big E. He starts going off on the Usos, but eventually there was a nice spot where Xavier Woods picked up Big E picked up Xavier Woods and hit and dropped him, showing test of strength. And Xavier Woods picked up Big E on his shoulders and dropped him on the other Uso. I thought that was really cool. Xavier Woods hit the suicide dive, and Big E does the same. It was awesome. And the Usos start to dominate. No, the Usos catch Big E when he goes for the suicide dive with double super kicks, and then the Usos hit a splash to Big E like while he's on the apron, and then the other one hits a splash onto Xavier Woods. He covers him. Woods kicks out. Big E and Xavier Woods hit the Uranagi into a backbreaker combo, into a backstabber combo, but one of the Usos kicks out of it. They hit the midnight hour. The same Uso kicks out of it, and then Xavier Woods hits a tornado DDT. Big E goes for the big ending, but the other Uso rolls him up. Big E kicks out, and eventually the finish comes when Xavier Woods gets tossed out on the outside, and the other Uso catches him into a Samoan drop. It looked like Xavier Woods could have gotten a concussion. It looked brutal. And then they throw Kofi into the steps. They lay out Big E with a number of super kicks, and they hit the double splash on him for the win, and they win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Fine with the Usos going over, because quite frankly, it makes sense, because SmackDown doesn't really have a lot of tag teams, except really the Usos and the New Day. All the other tag teams are really comedy tag teams, or busy doing other stuff. So I think it makes sense. And I think they're going to probably blow this match off at the next SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. I think that I'm fine with the Usos going over. And then next, this was kind of stupid. We had Colonel Sanders auditions. It was superstars showing up for auditions, so that way they could be the new Colonel Sanders. And Colonel Sanders like, who could do Colonel better than Colonel? And Enzo comes up and is like, what do we got over here? A Colonel Hader. And then who else shows up? We had Big Show is like, hey, I lost 300 pounds for this. And then you had Mojo Rawley and Becky Lynch. And Mojo Rawley says that there's only one Colonel Sanders that can get you hyped up. Becky Lynch is like, why does Colonel have to be a man? Why can't it be a woman? Time for a nice change. And then who else showed up for it? You had Heath Slater. And he's like, I'm the only one that's really southern around here. I'm from Virginia, and I got kids. I love it when he says that. And then R-Truth just shows up and he's like, are you here to audition too? And R-Truth's like, what audition? He's like, well, why are you dressed as Colonel? And you also had Goldust there too, which, by the way, Goldust was supposed to unveil his new protege, and it didn't happen on this show, so they lied. But then Heath Slater pops up and tears off Colonel, thinking that he's just disguised as thinking that he's somebody else just disguised as Colonel Sanders, and it's not. It's like, oh, what a cock or something. And everybody starts fighting, which was kind of stupid, which was goofy, and it says, who will be the next Colonel? And we find out it's none other than Shawn Michaels, as they like to call him, the Colonel Michaels. And it's Shawn Michaels dressed up as Colonel Sanders. This was pretty funny. I did laugh at it, but it really was kind of a waste of Shawn Michaels' appearance. But of all things you could have had Shawn Michaels do, it was this on the kickoff of all things. It was kind of stupid. But I did laugh at this, and this was funny. And that Shawn Michaels definitely got into it, and I just probably lost a lot of money right there. So, yeah. And then Paul Heyman gets interviewed, and he talks about how this is a special occasion where you're going to see Brock Lesnar defend his Universal Championship. And he talks about how Brock Lesnar is going to successfully retain his title. But then Braun Strowman interrupts him, and he's like, I think you're done talking. And then Heyman walks away, and Strowman just looks at him. I thought this was actually pretty funny. Then we had the actual show itself. We had the same people on commentary minus Vic Joseph, thank God. And then we had... Then we had the SummerSlam video package. It was a pretty decent video package, actually. I really enjoyed it. I thought they did a good job showing all the build-up to each match, and I really enjoyed it. And then we had the first match. It was John Cena versus Baron Corbin. And, yeah, Baron Corbin pretty much is fucked, because pretty much that match was just a Baron Corbin, and John Cena didn't even take the match seriously. He goes up and jokes around with JBL. He jokes around. This was pretty much a typical Cena match you would see back in the day, when it was like back in 2007, 2008, where he gets dominated and then he starts to make his comeback. Corbin hit some nice moves. He hit the choke slam into the backbreaker. He hit a nice slam, and then Cena hits his 5 moves of doom. He misses the 5-knuckle shuffle. Corbin hits a deep 6. Then Cena hits the 5-knuckle shuffle, and Corbin tries to do the spot where he goes. He hit it earlier where he runs across the ring and hits the clothesline. He goes for it a second time. Cena hits one himself and then hits the AA for the win, and that was it. Corbin's fucked. He's just gonna probably just slowly get buried, and yeah, it's yeah. What happens with Cena next? He's probably gonna go on to Raw and hopefully get into a feud with Samoa Joe, but we have to wait and see. But yeah, this match was very meh. It was a typical Cena match you would see back in the day. This definitely shows that Cena can't work with anybody that isn't better than him. So then next we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match. SmackDown Women's Champion Naomi versus Natalya. I thought this was actually a really good match here. Natalya slaps Naomi right in the face right in the beginning. Naomi goes off on her. She hits a slap herself, and she hits a Hurricanrana, driving Natalya on the outside. She hits a blockbuster from the steps, and she goes to hit a kick while from the apron, but Natalya catches it, hangs her up on the turnbuckle, slingshots her face first into the steel post, and Natalya dominates the matchup for a while, really working over Naomi's leg. Naomi starts to make a comeback, but Natalya cuts her off with the discus clothesline, covers her. Naomi kicks out. Natalya hits a suplex. Naomi kicks out, and Naomi, continues to make her comeback. She gets into the Koji. She gets Natalya into the Koji clutch. Natalya fights out of it. Natalya goes for the sharpshooter, but as Naomi went for her submission, but Naomi reverses it and is able to reverse it and send Natalya's back of the head into the into the turnbuckle, and she goes for a split-legged moonsault. Natalya gets the knees up and gets her with the sharpshooter. Naomi taps out. Natalya becomes the new SmackDown Women's Champion. And afterwards, Naomi's crying, really selling the loss, which I loved. And afterwards, there was no cash-in. Carmella and James Ellsworth were watching the match from backstage, but she didn't come out and cash in, which I'm fine with. I think it's time for Natalya to have her moment with the title. I really hope they don't do something stupid. We're on SmackDown, because I haven't seen it yet. We're on SmackDown this week. Where Carmella just cashes in, because then it was like, what was the point of not doing it at SummerSlam? So yeah. Overall, I thought this match was really good, though. I thought they had really good chemistry together, and I really wouldn't mind seeing a rematch. And I'm glad, and everyone seems kind of pissed that Natalya went over, but I'm happy Natalya went over. This was so many years of Natalya being treated like crap in the women's division, and I think Natalia should get one final one as SmackDown Women's Champion. I mean, she's earned it. So yeah, I feel a lot of people are pissed about it, which is kind of weird because they always wanted Natalia to get a push, and now she's finally getting it. And everyone's bitching about it, so it's stupid. Um, then next we had a Big Cass versus Big Show with Enzo Amore suspended high above the ring in a shark cage. Um, Enzo Amore comes out and cuts his promo, talks about how he's not afraid to be in the cage. You know how on the he's better on the microphone than Big Cass is on the worst day on on his best day in the ring. Pretty much the same stuff he always says. Big Cass comes out. Enzo's told to go in the shark cage, and Big Show comes out. He's got his hand all taped up from the from the injury on Raw, and Enzo gets suspended high above the ring, and he really was only like 15 feet, and it was like why? Normally it's higher, but there's a reason for that. Big Show dominates Big Cass. He hits a sidewalk slam on him. It ends up selling his hand injury. He goes to just drop all his weight down to Big Cass. But from the second turnbuckle, Big Cass moves out of the way. And Big Cass gets somewhat offense in, but then Big Show just hits immediately a knockout punch with the bad hand. Doesn't even sell the fact that it hurts. Covers on Big Cass, kicks out. Big Cass no sells the knockout punch, which was stupid. Big Show puts his hand like right into his straps, which was stupid. And then Big Cass hits a big boot right where his hand is, which made it even more stupid. And he dominates Big Show for a while, working over the injured hand. And Big Show makes his comeback. He hits a choke slam by Big Cass with his other hand. Covers him. Big Cass kicks out. And then Big Cass takes down Big Show. He just starts beating the crap out of Big Show. Enzo wants to get out of the cage. He can't figure out a way out. And Enzo was doing like a bunch of weird stuff in the cage, like dancing, like he was pretty much a male stripper. And he takes off his clothes like he is a stripper, rubs baby oil on himself so he can just slip out of the cage. Big Cass sees him doing this, and when Enzo gets out of the cage and gets to the ground, Big Cass just kicks his head off, which was stupid that they even had that stip because it really wasn't used much in the match. And then he kicks Big Show's head off with the big boot, covers him. Big Show kicks out. Then he hits another big boot and an Empire elbow for the win. And Big Cass goes over in pretty dominant fashion, but the match sucked and the stipulation was stupid. The stuff with Enzo was stupid. The only thing that came out looking good in this match is that Big Cass looked dominant in this match, so that was good. And then Kurt Angle's backstage, and Daniel Bryan comes up to him and pretty much they're trying to outdo each other with those matches that they have. You know, Daniel Bryan talked about how the WWE Championship match is international flavor. The Universal title match is great. They both use each other's catchphrases. I thought it was pretty funny. Then we had Randy Orton versus Rusev. Rusev attacks Orton from behind, beats the crap out of him, drops him into the barricade, and then the referee sees if Randy Orton can go. Randy Orton does. Orton just immediately hits an RKO for the win in about 10 seconds, and that was the whole match. It was stupid. Seeing this match made me realize that I think those rumors are true about Rusev asking for his release because they would not have done this if he wasn't. And yeah, it was stupid. And obviously, this was a stupid match. Rusev deserves better than that, so it was stupid. And then that was pretty much hour one, and hour one actually was pretty lame. The only thing that's really worth seeing in hour one is the SmackDown Women's title match. But hour two is when SummerSlam really starts to pick up. Sasha Banks is backstage, and Bayley comes up to her, which she got booed, which is kind of sad because this is where her and Sasha Banks stole the show for the NXT Women's title, and now she's getting booed here. She wishes her luck and tells her to be safe. We had the Raw Women's Championship match. Raw Women's Champion Alexa Bliss versus Sasha Banks. And, Sasha Banks even got booed because I hear she's been denying people autographs and stuff, which is nothing new. But I do feel bad for those fans probably that came to, SummerSlam to probably want to meet Sasha Banks, and then she denied them. So I can't really blame the fans for booing her. And because Sasha's a bitch in real life. And Alexa Bliss dominates pretty much the first portion of the matchup. She hits a wicked right hand on Sasha. She pulls her hair against the ropes. She steps on her hair. Alexa Bliss hits a suplex. And anytime Sasha Banks tries to get in the offense, Alexa Bliss continues to cut her off. She hits a choke STO. And then eventually Sasha Banks starts to make her comeback. She hits a springboard clothesline. And she gets rid of the bank statement, but Alexa is able to get to the ropes right away. And then Alexa throws Sasha on the floor. She ends up hitting her shoulder really awkwardly. I think she was just selling, but we're not exactly sure. Then she goes after the shoulder of Sasha Banks. He throws her outside the ring and just lands roughly on the shoulder. And Sasha's just able to beat the count to get back in the ring. And then Alexa starts to dominate the shoulder. She hits Twisted Bliss on her, covers her. Sasha kicks out. Then Sasha gets her into the bank statement 2 times. Alexa gets out of it the first time, but then the second time, Alexa has no choice but to tap out. And Sasha Banks wins the Raw Women's title for a 4th time. Really kind of wish Alexa would have gone over. I think she's a better Raw Women's champion. But the only reason I'm fine with Sasha winning is because if this leads to Bayley versus Sasha at WrestleMania for the title, I'll be fine with that, whether it's with one of them turning heel. For the way the story's going to go right now, it looks like Bayley's going to be the one to turn heel. But whatever. I really will. And Alexa and Sasha really had a good match here. I enjoyed it. And the best part about this match is obviously Alexa's tantrums in this match. I really kind of wish they could have a match where Sasha was the heel and Alexa was the face. I think we got that like back in NXT for the NXT Women's title, but that was before Alexa was really well known and developed as a character. I think if they had, because in real life Sasha's the bitch, Alexa's the nice one, so I feel like it would work better if they could both be themselves. But whatever. Next was Bray Wyatt versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor comes out with as the demon entrance. He he's got the whole world in his hand. Song plays, and he comes out as the demon. It was really cool. We haven't seen this in a year, so I'm happy that it happened. And Bray Wyatt acts like he's all afraid of it. And Finn Balor dominates and kicks the crap out of Bray Wyatt in the beginning. I thought that was really cool. He hits a clothesline right on the outside, throws him into the barricade, hits 2 drop kicks to the back, and eventually, he hits a flip dive over the top rope too. And eventually, Bray Wyatt hits a suplex on the floor from the apron, and Bray Wyatt dominates the matchup. But Finn Balor tries to get some offense going. He starts making his comeback. Bray Wyatt hits a Yoanagi into a senton, but Finn kicks out, and Bray Wyatt tries to do his exorcism walk. He actually slipped, which was funny, and Finn Balor gets up from this, and this creeps out Bray Wyatt. He hits 2 slim blades on Bray Wyatt, a drop kick into the corner, and then the coup de grace for the win, and Finn Balor goes over. Obviously, I'm fine with this because Finn Balor really needed to get a win because he really hasn't had a big victory. But really, this should have. I don't think this match was probably better than the match on Raw. The only thing that really makes it better is the demon entrance. But also, I was there when they had the match on Raw, so I don't know if that made it better. I wonder if there was any USA chance for Finn Balor, who's from the Ireland. But overall, I thought this match was alright. I think the entrances definitely made it. It would have been better if they didn't have a match on Raw and stuff. And yeah, I'm guessing this feud's going to continue because if they doesn't, that's just 50-50 booking, but we have to wait and see. Then next we had a Raw Tag Team Championship match. Raw Tag Team Champion Cesaro and Sheamus versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. So now that I've seen, because obviously if you guys watch the live reactions, which you can click down in the description box below to check those out, now that I've kind of watched both of the full tag matches on this show, I don't know which match was really better, because I thought that the SmackDown Tag Team title match was really good, but I also thought that this match was really good, so I can't really say which one was better. Ambrose and Rollins started off doing very well in the beginning, really working together as a team. And then Cesaro and Sheamus realize they have to do something to get the advantage, so they take it. So Sheamus takes out Ambrose on the outside with a blow kick, and then they throw Rollins ribs first into the barricade, and they dominate Seth Rollins for a long time. It was actually pretty good dominant stuff. Um, and fans were like hitting a beach ball around on the outside, which I thought was kind of disrespectful because these were two these were like two really good tag matches. I mean, it's not like this. I mean, I would have been fine if they did it to like the Big Cass and Big Show match because, quite frankly, that was match. But this match was like two matches that people cared about. You know, the one Ambrose and Rollins, the setting up a Shield reunion. Cesaro and Sheamus are the great tag team champions. And Cesaro goes out though, gets the beach ball, and just rips it apart. I thought that was awesome. I thought that was good heel heat by Cesaro. It just shows how great Cesaro is that he was able to you know, kind of improvise and do that to kind of get himself some heel heat. And then Sheamus and Cesaro continue to pick apart Rollins. Eventually, he can't get to the tag, so Ambrose just goes on the outside, hits like an elbow drop, hits a elbow drop from the top rope turnbuckle onto Sheamus and Cesaro, and he puts Rollins in the win, which is kind of stupid. I thought he would put Rollins in the win because Rollins can't win the titles off count under disqualification. But Ambrose gets the hot tag. He starts going off on Cesaro, hits all his typical moves. And Seth Rollins hits a high knee onto Cesaro, and it looks like that Rollins and Ambrose are doing really well. They hit double Falcon Arrow suplexes. They go for a double powerbomb though, and Cesaro intervenes and he throws it Rollins on the outside. And Sheamus and Cesaro pick apart Dean Ambrose for a long ass time. They Sheamus hits a Rollins senton, and Cesaro hits a swing into the sharpshooter, but and Seth Rollins tries to get in the win. He gets a Rollins senton on the outside to Seth Rollins. And then Ambrose tries to get to the ropes, but Cesaro turns it into a crossface. And eventually Rollins hits a high knee. Eventually Ambrose is able to get out of that. They go for the assisted Celtic cross, but Rollins hits a Hurricane onto Sheamus, which causes him to fall into Cesaro. And then Rollins and Ambrose take control. Rollins hits a high knee on Sheamus, and Ambrose hits the Dirty Deeds for the win. And Ambrose and Rollins are the new Raw Tag Team Champions. I thought this match was really good. I think because of nostalgic stuff, and I just cared about the story more in this match than I did in the SmackDown Tag Title match. I think I actually enjoyed this match a little bit more, but that's just my opinion. I think, too, because this match, like I said, had more of a story element to it. The SmackDown Tag Title match I still thought was really good, but I thought this match was better. And pretty much from this point, there was every title had changed hands, which they made sure to bring up. So then we had the United States Championship match. United States Champion AJ Styles versus Kevin Owens with Shane McMahon as a special guest referee. Styles attacks Styles attacks Owens before the match, and they both stop brawling. Shane has to break it up, and AJ. Then the match starts. AJ dominates Owens in the beginning. He hits knee drops on him and just really takes control of Kevin Owens. But Kevin Owens hits a body drop, and Styles goes for the phenomenal forearm. Then Owens dominates the matchup. He hits a clothesline, a wicked suplex, and eventually, Owens hits a senton, and the match really was like a nice back and forth matchup. The only thing that hurt this match was the amount of ref bumps that Shane took in this match. But I really liked how Owens was like talking down at Shane McMahon. I thought that was funny. I think there was a spot where Owens shoved Shane, and Styles hits a sunset flip powerbomb off the turnbuckle, and Shane goes down, and then Owens hits a pump up powerbomb, but he doesn't see that Styles' foot's on the rope, and Owens kept shoving Owens and Styles, and it almost cost him the match. Shane took a huge bump, and Styles had him into the calf crusher, and Owens ended up tapping out, but Shane didn't see it. Stuff like that, I think, really hurt the match. But Styles and Owens tried to overcome it. They hit the Pele kick. Styles hits a Styles clash. Owens kicks out. Owens, I think, hit pop up power bombs and Styles kicked out. And then Styles hits a Hushi Karoshi. I know that's not the name that Tom Phillips calls it, but that's the real name of the move. Owens hits a reverse superplex off a turnbuckle. And then eventually the finish comes, though, when Styles hits a phenomenal forearm and then hits a Styles Splash for the win. And overall, I thought the match was just average. I think what hurts this match is that it was just so overbooked by Shane McMahon. And obviously, they're clearly going to set up to Shane McMahon versus Kevin Owens probably at Hell in a Cell, which is the next SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. Just because, why wouldn't they? And overall, I thought this match was really affected by, Shane being in it, because it was all about Shane. And what I hated about this match is that the one flaw about Owens and Styles' feud is that they never really got to have that match of the year contender, because they really could have. At Backlash, they were getting into that direction, but then Styles ended up getting counted out at. They probably had it at Madison Square Garden, but since I didn't see it, I can't really say it was. And then they at Battleground, they were working in front of a dead crowd, and they had that fuck finish. And then on SmackDown, just before this, they had another fuck finish, and then here the match was just overbooked. So overall, I thought they just kind of affected the match. Then we had the next match. It was a WWE Championship match. WWE Champion Jinder Mahal with the Sin Brothers ringside versus Shinsuke Nakamura. If you've seen a Jinder Mahal match from nowadays, you've seen them all. The guy Nakamura tries to get advantages on him, but Jinder keeps running away. The Sin Brothers keep interfering. Jinder dominates the beginning. Nakamura looks like he's going to do well. He takes out the Sin Brothers. Jinder wins with the Colossus. Kind of stupid. I will say this, that if Nakamura was going to win the title, it should be against a better competitor like an AJ Styles, like Kevin Owens, somebody like that, instead of Jinder. He's probably going to be, and they probably are using this to set up, because the next pay-per-view is Hell in a Cell, so they probably want to have Jinder in the Hell in a Cell where no one can interfere. So yeah, like I said, I know I said in the live reaction that I would protest SmackDown, but if he does not lose the title by, I don't even know, because he's got to lose it at Hell in a Cell. He's just gotta. Because SmackDown during NFL season is gonna get the ratings. People are not gonna people are gonna be like, well, I need to watch some sort of wrestling. SmackDown will be the only wrestling that people are gonna care to see, and then Shinsuke will, and having Jinder as champion isn't gonna help. Then we had the main event. It was the Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Universal Championship. WWE Universal Champion Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman inside versus Braun Strowman versus Samoa Joe versus Roman Reigns. Where if Lesnar loses, him and Heyman leave WWE. Amazing match. Best match of the whole weekend. This match topped at the top for promotion matches, the NXT matches. This match topped them all. It was brilliant. The beginning, Reigns fights with Strowman, and Lesnar fights with Joe, and Lesnar hits a belly-to-back suplex on Samoa Joe, and Braun Strowman gets thrown into the steel post, and Reigns and Lesnar are going to go at it. Lesnar lays out Joe and Roman Reigns with German suplexes, and then Strowman and Lesnar are about to go at it, but Reigns intercepts it, and he goes after Brock. Joe goes after Strowman. Strowman takes out Joe with a clothesline. Lesnar hits a German suplex on Reigns. Then they start to go at it. Braun Strowman overpowers Brock Lesnar. Hits a big boot. Clotheslines him outside the ring. And then Reigns tries to clothesline Strowman outside the ring, but Strowman doesn't go out. He's just too powerful for it. And he hits a corner. He goes to lay out Reigns, but he gets thrown right into the post. Joe gets the Corkia clutch on the outside onto Lesnar, but Roman Reigns goes for the spear through the barricade. Joe releases the hold and drives Lesnar through the barricade. Samoa Joe hits a Uranagi onto the announcer's table onto Roman Reigns. Strowman throws Joe over the announcer's table, and Joe then clears off the Spanish announcer's table and hits a running power slam right through the table, right onto Brock Lesnar. And I thought that was awesome. Then Roman Reigns hits a rebound drop kick onto Strowman, which everybody booed. Actually, anytime Roman Reigns did anything in this match, people just sat there and booed, which I thought was sending a message. Because they stood up when everybody else didn't boo. But when Roman Reigns did, everyone immediately sat down and booed. That's how you get the message across. And then Samoa Joe hits a suicide dive onto Roman Reigns. Strowman takes out Joe. I think with like a clothesline or something. I forget exactly how. And then Strowman lays out Lesnar again. He hits another running power slam through the table. And then he tips over the German announce table right onto Brock Lesnar. And Brock Lesnar has to be structured out. I thought they did a really good job playing that up. You had all the guys come out, like all the agents that usually come out and break up fights, like Fit Finlay, Jamie Noble. And I thought that was awesome. And the Lesnar gets stretched out, taken out through the crowd, and Strowman continues to dominate. He hits Joe and Reigns with the steel steps, and then then Roman Reigns starts to make a comeback. He hits Strowman off the head with the steps, like the corner of it. I think he really hurt and really busts open Braun Strowman. He hits him right in the back of the ear, and then he hits him up again with the steps. And then Samoa Joe tries to steal the win with the roll-up. And then he hits an atomic drop into a big boot, into a senton. Covers him. Reigns kicks out. Reigns hits a Samoan drop. And he hits a Superman punch. And then Joe gets him into the floor. What else? And then Strowman double choke slams Reigns and Joe. And then Brock Lesnar comes back out. He takes down Strowman, beats the crap out of him, and he hits German suplex on both Reigns and Joe, and then he what else? Then he goes forward on Strowman. Strowman powers out of it, hits a corner splash on Brock, and then Reigns somehow Joe hits a Corkia clutch on Reigns. Strowman hits a drop kick right onto both of them. I thought that was awesome. You have several instances where Strowman was about to win. He hits the running power slam on Reigns. Reigns kicks out. And Samoa Joe hits a Corkia clutch on the outside onto Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns hits a Superman punch at one point on the outside under Brock. Strowman hits a power slam on Joe, but the ref, before the ref can make the count, Lesnar pulls the referee out. Joe gets the Corkia clutch on Brock. And then Brock turns it into the F5, covers him. Reigns breaks it up. Reigns hits a weak-ass spear onto Brock. It's not Reigns' fault, actually. The way Brock took it was just really weak. And then he covers him. Brock ends up hitting a weak-ass kick-out. And then, what else? Roman Reigns, and then eventually the finish comes. Roman Reigns, everybody's just laid out. Roman Reigns is hitting Superman punch after Superman punch on Brock. He goes for the spear. Lesnar turns it into the F5, covers him, he gets the win, and he retains the WWE Universal Championship. But overall, this match was awesome. This match was really damn good, and I really enjoyed it. Best match of the night. Definitely a match of the year contender. I don't know if it will be match of the year, but definitely a match of the year contender. And Braun Strowman, I thought everybody looked really good in this match. Braun Strowman looked like a beast in this match with the way he took out Brock Lesnar, and they just really built him up as a monster. I thought Samoa Joe looked good. I thought Roman Reigns looked good. And I like the fact that Roman Reigns took the pin because it's not going to hurt Roman Reigns to take the pin because it really would have hurt Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman because they're kind of two guys that really can't afford to take pinfalls since they're being built up as monsters. So I think Roman Reigns taking the pin is the best for anybody. But yeah, listen, everybody did chant for Undertaker doing this because I think it was rumored that Undertaker was going to come out. Really glad he didn't. Taker, obviously everybody knows Taker's my favorite of all time, but Taker should just stay retired at this point. He did that whole segment at WrestleMania, and if he didn't retire, it wouldn't make any sense. So I'm kind of glad he didn't. It's going to be, but we'll have to wait and see. And yeah, that was SummerSlam. Let me give my star ratings for each match before I actually give my overall thoughts on the show. For the 6-man tag team match, I'll probably give that match 2 stars. It was really just an average match. For the Cruiserweight Championship match, I'll give that match 2.5. I thought that was a pretty decent match. Just the finish was weird. The finish really wouldn't have been as bad if Neville didn't lose the title on Raw. For the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match, I'll probably give that match 3 and 3 probably yeah probably ooh, that's a tough one actually. Probably give it 3 and 3/4 stars. I really enjoyed that match. Um, then for John Cena versus Baron Corbin, probably gonna give that match 2 stars. Really just a match. For the SmackDown Women's Title match, I'm gonna give that match 3.5 stars. I thought that was a really good match. For Big Show versus Big Cass, gonna give that match probably a star and a half. The only really good thing is that Big Cass went over and looked strong doing so. For the Raw Women's Title match, I'll give that match 3 stars. I thought that was a good Raw Women's Title match. For the Raw Tag Team Championship match, I'm gonna give that match 4 stars. I thought that was a really good Raw Tag Team Championship match. For the United States Title match, I'll probably give that match probably 2.5 stars. No, probably 2.5 stars, just because of the fact that it was just really overbooked. But I mean, they tried. And then for the WWE Championship match, I'll probably give that match. That match really wasn't that good, so I'll probably give that match 2.25 stars. No, actually no, probably not 2.25. The match sucked, and the one person went over. I'll give that match 1.25 stars. I forgot to give my star ratings for Randy Orton versus Rusev. That was just a dud because that's not really much of a match. And then for the WWE Universal Title match, I'm going to give that match 4 and 3/4 stars. Brilliant match. And yeah, overall, I thought SummerSlam. A lot of people don't seem to like this show. And I will say it is kind of an up and down show. I think the kickoff is actually pretty decent. Just next time, don't. I think they need to structure the kickoffs differently still, but I thought they structured it pretty well. The only thing they did wrong was that they had matches out there without any fans in the ring. That was stupid. But the first hour was very shaky, though. I'll admit the only because the only thing that was good was like the SmackDown Women's Title match, and then everything else just kind of was blah. But once the second hour hit, the show really got going. The Raw Women's Title match was good. The Raw Tag Title match was good. The Finn Balor versus Bray Wyatt, that was a good match. That was a pretty decent match there. I forgot to do my star ratings for that. That's 2 and 3/4. And then it's cool to see Balor as the Demon. The Universal Title match was brilliant. The U.S. Title match was shaky, and the WWE Title match wasn't good either. But I thought they had like enough good stuff to make this like a really good show. I thought this is the best show that WWE's put on since WrestleMania 30. This is just, I thought they really knocked it out of the park with this show, and I really enjoyed SummerSlam. I thought it was a thumbs up show. I definitely think it topped NXT Takeover Brooklyn 3. That's just my opinion though. And you could say, well, you're just trashing NXT. No, I always say NXT does better, but this time SummerSlam was better. I just thought. If I had to rate this show, I'll probably rate this show a probably a 8.5 out of 10, maybe like a 9 out of. I probably rated a 9. I can't really say a 9 out of 10, but I did definitely say an 8.5 out of 10, just because of how great of everything I just said. Maybe 9. Actually, I probably would say 9. 9 out of 10. I don't know if it's a 9 out of 10 quality show, but I definitely will say an 8.5 out of 10. I thought it was really well done. But that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so that way people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Then make sure you guys also do the same thing for my CM brothers to know when I'm talking to YouTube channels. Make sure you subscribe and click on the bell. Make sure you guys click on the SummerSlam live reactions that I did down in the description box below. And make sure you guys also subscribe to all the other content and check out all the other stuff, the Facebook pages and stuff down below. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.